the final stage, maybe we can just get two groups that didn't share just now, kind of just share their pursuits. You guys want to share?
So which ones do we say? So
All right, folks.
So we're working on Tessa, and our pursuits were.
Do you want to just read your belief?
Oh yeah,
purpose
our
real quick?
belief. We believe that individuals achieving their full potential enables inclusive communities. Very similar to the other group. So we exist to be the catalyst to unlock full potential. And then from there, the purposes. How do we make, I guess, the business that Tessa's in self-sustaining? So how do they pretty much transcend what they're doing at the moment and just make it something that's widespread and basically just continues to deliver the benefit on its own? And how do we redefine the brand? And part of that's around how's the stigma reduced out of, children feeling or parents feeling like there's something wrong with their child, and sort of flipping that around to saying they're just as valuable, everyone's valuable, everyone's the same. And then really defining it. And then the last one is defining or redefining the potential, which we're still sort of working on. But it's about bringing meaning to each individual and caring about existence and things like that, sort of more around the child themselves.
I think that's great. If you guys just let me summarize this. If the purpose is about being a catalyst to unlock full potential, you got a purpose here that's about the ideal potential itself. How do we redefine it? How do we help people understand it? How do we help people understand how to individualize the idea of potential? Boatload of activities you can do there. There's another activity about self-sustaining. That becomes a little bit external, but a lot of internal. So that you can go, how do we get to a point where we can stop having to go and ask for grants? Potentially, maybe even one day convert ourselves from a non-profit to a for-profit, right? So that then this purpose becomes so much easier. This purpose is not only achieved because we write really great grant letters, right? And then there's a third one, which is really, if we want every household to want to use us, every household with children to want to use us, how do we redefine that brand so that it is not something that is a Band-Aid because there's something wrong? It's because you want to use it just to make things amazing, more amazing. I think those are really great. Another group share. You guys at the back. You can do it from the back there too. We'll just look at you.
We exist to be resilient and connected generations for our community.
Sounds nice and familiar, which is good.
Of course, our belief is that we believe that everybody deserves to rise above their individual challenges and pursue a better future.
Nice.
Okay. In regards to pursue, empower youth to connect with communities. The second one is to celebrate life, and the third one, create a connection movement. That's very strong. In regards to empower youth, provide tools, education, skills, network, social skills, self-awareness, and self-management and acceptance. to celebrate life, celebrate human life, self-esteem, and it's okay to be different.
Mm.
The third one, create a connection movement, belonging, connect, belonging, connect, move. Movement to reach others.
Nice. All right, that's good. That's really great. That middle one was really awesome, which is really about kind of looking at uniqueness, which I think is really great. It's just a question of whether pursuit 1 and 3 may live in the same area, and that's okay. So you don't need 3. You can have 2 pursuits. But it's pretty simple, I think, to look at what you guys are doing. You can already know there's a boatload of activities to do under, which is good because they all align back up to your purpose. It's good. Thanks for sharing. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is actually the Ansoff model. You guys have done this? Yes? Everyone's familiar with Ansoff? And really, it becomes a little bit like, the reason we do this in this sequence is that you could go from pursuit to just straight to Ansoff. Ansoff many times becomes very quantitative. Ansoff doesn't have to be quantitative, but many times it does end up being quantitative, and that's okay. That's good. That's good, because at the end of the day, either you have a for-profit business that needs to continue having profits, or as many of you have identified, you have a non-profit business that somehow or another the bottom line matters, because the bottom line is the engine that allows them to keep continuing. You want to marry both your pursuits and your Ansoff. That's really the money. That's the money game, is you take your pursuits, which sound nice and big picture, makes you feel good in your heart, right? Because it's from your purpose. And then you have Ansoff that should kind of, that financially makes a lot of sense. Like, I'll be able to make a lot more money. You want to marry those up. And that gives you all the activities you should be doing. Because then the activities make you feel good about what you're doing, because they also align with your purpose. From the VP, CEO, all the way down to the cleaners, they go, I'm doing this because it aligns to a much higher order purpose for me, but it also delivers on the KPIs. The KPIs that then become your engine that keeps you on, keeps you moving, okay?
The big corporates, say Google or even the companies, they have different business units, right? Like Google, they have big apps, they have
Yep.
AI, they have
Yep.
cloud, they have something. Now, these pursuits and the vision that you talk about, everyone has a different KPI, so that's where this question is coming from. Sales targets becomes a big thing.
Yep.
Human resources have their own targets, and so this whole message from marketing perspective, it's amazing, right? So what do you do as a marketing person to make sure that it cascades down all teams, all ranks, and the message is listened across the whole
It's a really good question. What I have seen, where I see this happening really successfully, is number one, is the company at the top. Let's just take big companies. Small companies, a lot easier. Big companies, right at the top, they're doing this. So they're doing, as Google, our purpose is this. And if our purpose is this, obviously we've got KPIs as Google, not Google Cloud. Google also, I think 15 years ago or 10 years ago, started investing in the idea of being able to expand human life to make it everlasting. I don't know Google's purpose other than organizing information. I don't think I got that right. But they're investing in that, and each one of their subdivisions have KPIs. But really, the company needs to have a brand purpose, company's brand purpose, and from there they should identify, based on next year and the next 5 years, 10 years, what we want to achieve. Our focus is on these 3-4 things. Most companies will have just 3-4 things. They won't have 20 things to focus on. It doesn't make sense. To us as consumers, we might think they're focusing on 20 things, but those 20 things rise up to just 3 big areas that they're going after. We want to go after creating information. We want to go after making information first degree separation between consumers' information, so I don't have to get it from third party. I can get it. I can create information myself. I don't know what the third.
You're talking about their vision?
I'm really talking about their purpose down to their pursuits
So
as a company.
So it just says here, Google's corporate mission is
universally acceptable and accessible and usable.
Sounds like a mission. Sounds pretty lousy too. You know what I mean? I think it would be really great if they had a nice little purpose. So like, how do we use information to change this world? How do we use information? I'm sure that's really actually it, because they're doing amazing pursuits, right?
It used to be Eve.
Say again?
It used to be Eve.
Don't be evil.
That was the original.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. And then they are evil. But the idea is that it shouldn't be a marketing thing. The only reason why a lot of marketers talk about it, because marketers are the ones that talk about the brand, right? But it should be a company thing. It really should start from there, and then they trickle it down. You know, and there are tons. You just literally Google purpose-led organizations. You'll hear people who are, you know, middle management, middle people, ground people. Then they say, hey, no, our purpose is to do this. Chobani, great. Everyone talks about the founder. Everyone talks about the founder comes onto the floor on the where they're manufacturing, hugs people and tells people, hey, we're trying to change the world one yogurt cup at a time, right?
So if organization has a vision, a mission, purpose, where does purpose is like, is it purpose replacing mission?
To a certain extent, for a lot of organizations, it is, you know, because it's not really, it kind of gets a little bit kind of jumbled up. But for a lot of organizations in the past, they would have our objective as a business, right? Double the size of the business, become share leader, blah, blah, blah. BS kind of Wall Street KPIs. And then they've got our vision, which sounds a lot more like purpose, right? And then the mission is one level lower than vision. And a lot of companies now have started going, we still have our KPIs, but really we just have a purpose. And purpose kind of overtakes vision and mission, right?
I believe that sometimes companies, organizations, they don't believe
What they say.
pursue at the beginning, like
Yeah.
Facebook, it was a tool to connect people, and it ended up to be an advertising machine.
Yep. I would say you're correct. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad, but yeah, sometimes, you know, and the closer people, I think there's a really great quote. We use this all the time in the company. It's by, bloody hell. It's right at the tip of my tongue. The 2 most important days of your life is the day that you're born and the day that you figure out why. Okay? It's the exact same quote for a brand. Whenever you start doing purpose work, remember I told you when we were doing purpose work, it took 4 months, is because we were trying to figure out those 2 things. What happened when it was born? What happened when the founders wanted to launch this brand? What were they trying to do? Many brands that lose their way, share price go down, competitor comes in, they're like, man, we used to be so big, we used to do this. They always go back to that statement. 2 most important days, the day that you're born, the day you figure out why. The figuring out why is the purpose. But many of them, to try to figure out why, you go back to why were we started to begin with? And there's always some amazing story there. Maybe one day Facebook probably has done that, or they need to do that. To kind of go, why did we even form this to begin with? Maybe they formed it, he formed it because he wanted to become a multi-billionaire. Maybe. And maybe he's living up to the purpose, you know?
And the purpose would change every 5 years.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, see, it depends on the consumer, right? Like anything, sorry, like, so if you have moved from say self-help or whatever, from how to impress people to something else, now we are moving to meditation, now we are moving to how to be happy, right? So,
Yeah, but the thing is, those think about Disney. Magic, that's not gonna change. It was there from the beginning with Walt Disney, and it's there now. It's gonna be here for another 100 years. How they deliver magic changes, and that changes because the consumer and the landscape changes. Right? One day it will be uphill. One day it will be is just you. You could choose your children to be born more Disney-like, the Disney profile child, just super happy all the time. You know what I mean? But the magic doesn't change. The purpose shouldn't change.
what I'm trying to say is that Pepsi, right, from this big news company, now they're moving to get food, and their whole purpose is changing from what Pepsi
Yeah,
was
yeah.
to what they want to do now. Right?
Yeah.
Because consumer is-
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you're right. I think there are examples of people brands that might have a purpose and they go, our purpose that we have stated totally allowed us to be successful for 30 years, but right now it's actually going against where everyone else is going. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, Xerox, right? Great, not Xerox, Kodak. Great example. I'm sure you guys, every MBA school talks about Kodak, right? Kodak's gone. Kodak, I think the reason is because they were like, we are about film. But that's the problem. They're not about film. They're about creating long-lasting memories. If their purpose was, and they were very overly stated about our purpose internally, externally, is about creating long-lasting memories. How we do that doesn't matter. Today, it's film. Tomorrow, it should be something else. One day, it should be something else, right? But we're always creating long-lasting memories. But as the consumer changes, just the idea of memories change, right? So they could change with that. But if you don't state that, if you don't say that's what we do, then that's when the problem happens. That's when Kodak happens, you know? All right, so here's what we want to do. Just a couple examples. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, greater than $1 billion, you know, Coke, just examples are a lot closer now where my world sits. You know, Coke, classic Coke is huge. Everyone drinks it. Coke wants to launch into Coke Zero, right? And I mean, now it's the fastest growing product within the Coca-Cola, the drinks portfolio, which is this. But they're kind of going down the path where you're really not having any sugar, which really seems kind of a little bit counterintuitive to where they were before. Again, changing their idea of how to deliver, but still delivering, I don't even know what Coke's purpose. Maybe it's like a moment of magic, you know what I mean? So like, you know, but they're still delivering the exact same thing in a different way because the consumer's mindset have changed. Very similarly to a Snicker bar, right? You eat a Snicker bar, you feel great, and they're going, hey, well, hold on. People that like us and like Snicker bar, something really, really tiny, like the Ansoff model, is going, but why are we only in this category? We should be in that category called ice cream. Because everyone that likes this also indulge themselves in ice cream. Why are we not there? And now that company has now launched a whole boat of it. First, I bet you guys didn't know, I didn't know this. The first time they launched into ice cream was in 1992. And there are Snickers, not ice cream, #1 selling frozen novelty and convenience in the United States. Just to tell you, I think if you look at the Ansoff model, which is based on this, right? It's actually not that hard to kind of go, I've got a product, who's buying me right now, my product services, where else can I go to offer something incremental? Or I've got a product with the same people, what else can I give to the same people that's slightly different than what I'm giving right now? That's kind of what the majority of the innovations in this world. Only once in a while, once in a decade, once in a generation, do you get really true, big, differentiated innovation. Everything else is Ansoff model. How do we just slightly tweak here, right? But you can still make extremely successful businesses doing that. Yeah. So I think the exercise that we're going to do before we go to break is actually trying to figure out if you guys can pull out, if you have done the Ansoff on your product, pull that Ansoff out and the outputs of that and try to marry that with your pursuits. So basically you go brand belief and brand purpose. Here's the 3 pursuits. Based on our Ansoff, here are the activities we're going to do under the pursuits. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. 10, 15 minutes on that, and then we can report and then go to lunch. Ansoff, you guys done Ansoff? Yeah.
This is doing is everyone from
I'm good. I thought you needed help.
No.
That was just from the manufacturer,
So we're just gonna do the put in some of those ideas under these. Okay, so existing market penetration.
First one. That's what you current market.
So market spend rate.
That's fit into the that first 1375. So how do we make this self-sustainable? Expanded reach. Then there's redefining the brand. I think so. Yeah, it leads towards that. And they redefine it.
160 divided by 2,500. And then times 100.
So 64. Because at the moment, that's
So the current penetration
Yeah.
So that's completely
So there is 90.
new market or existing market? Kevin, do you consider schools as a new market, new schools, or is it the same market but we're reaching out wider?
Yeah, because that relates to the second
Course or
Existing market.
That's where you go. That's where you go. That's cool.
That's what so this is existing market and current product.
I would say training.
So new market, current product.
And then definitely
I think here I've got as well.
Because they slide.
So we can be like a new product.
In terms of appeal, it feels different. Yeah. Extra curriculum and also maybe seeing professional.
So anything else? Yeah, youth incentives.
That's like, so maybe we could get partnership with those professional hospitals or organizations.
I don't know. Use it to be.
Just search for it.
First one, let's see. So this one is called
That's what we'll talk about.
There are new projects and new services.
Yeah, it's the
New market.
7 million.
New product.
That's right. Third one. Yeah, this is number.
That's the thing.
It can
Or is it number one?
Number one.
We don't want to do that.
just want to be careful because they say new project.
And social media has the two.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean so that's
That's the third one.
It's face.
Emotional branding,
Yes, I think that's
high-minded, humanized brand.
I think it's using the current product.
Humanized.
Yeah. No, it's just
Alright, so we can see
so the product is not immense.
where I saw it, now I
Courses and expansion.
Commercial marketing.
So that's definitely a new product. So it's for existing market new product. That's
They're still in the commercial marketing.
But then course.
and one is it's not the development. Yeah, latter part of 2018, we should have been
Behavioral, based. Schools to grow base.
Yeah, because that's kind of their target. They're smaller ratios.
How long the program? Free trial.
And the market new product. I got here. Program. I actually not this teacher. So right now, there you
Run with it.
but not for their
Number one. Zero.
There's lots of stuff.
but specifically t-shirt. That's their whole competition, right? Which one?
I reckon number 2. Because it's changing the whole scope of what they're about. Like not completely, but
Right.
yeah. And that's also put it up the top as well.
Just space.
Good.
Yeah, it's all right. Because we just have a photo from last time of the
Okay, the
so
Ansoff, yeah.
copying it out and working one it sits under.
That's awesome. And remember, the ultimate goal is just
Even with the
really
really
simple things that you can say you can have a nice sustainable profit. That's really the ultimate goal, right? And where the community is going right now is that if you're selling shit because of the shit, they just sell it because it's cheaper, faster. Somebody's going to do it better than you. But if you sell it because it's got higher order, because that's what they talk about. They don't talk about them, but then they'll talk about that while they're buying stuff. Yeah, that's my thing. They want to buy into the store, so they're not asking you to buy into the store. That's really the ultimate goal. So when you do the Ansoff, most of the time when you do the Ansoff, it is all about kind of finances, opportunity, soul. And then my main thing is I'm able to get great products that people can buy. I can make lots of money from my company, but they are really high order results. Right? Then people don't, it's like leaders, they don't follow you because you tell them this, go with here, you might die, but just come with me so people. It's like, no, just follow them because they're telling you to go to heaven. They're like, why not go to heaven? You know what I mean? Licensing health firms.
Licensing matters.
Have you guys, is this a new one? Have you guys already done this?
Yeah. So the existing market is higher
And maybe Victoria. So huge upside, just so that so what you should is then how do we do this? That's an opportunity. How do we do it? That's what you want is identify ideas on how to get this is great. This is wonderful. To go, hey, this is very good. Our existing products in our existing market. Yeah. And maybe that how it's number one, identify it for the 64%. That's down changing. Find out why they love us. Take that.
Every other comes just but also, so we did
But you start with identifying first.
yeah.
Then start to think about how you make that.
The journey.
The Ansoff. We can use it to identify the big picture. We have to make it something. Our exact same product needs to go somewhere. All the rest of it. That's right. That's me. But then you kind of how we can. Do you use it because this was sort of like you want to accept
But cool.
Every single one. Part of this
So there's
Yeah, especially
Like when you read the
so that sort of foundation of but also and then you say you want to foundation from there the only thing they'll care about is one is they'll care about right? Which there's no way. And what you want to do tonight, you guys are diverging, is think about the sensitivity. So as you think about who you want to partner with, who's going to help you bring this, even technology will help the ability. Why would you would just go right to the but there's a lot of places go from just family negotiation and emergency. Right? So even technology, but yet, as you start thinking, always remember, everything is just my idea of space. And the vocabulary, child so much, child and anything that has revolves so much more around vocabulary or my little cricket. That sort of thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Great. How long of a break you want to take? How long of a break you want to take? 31.
Yeah. So we'll need to take a lunch break, and then, well, how much more did you have to?
I totally I can do 45 minutes. 15 minutes.
Yeah. So we'll take a break and then come back and then finish off the introductions. Yeah, that's fine. We'll give them say 45 minutes. Yeah.
And maybe I'll do another 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey folks, I know you're not done yet. It's probably pretty difficult to kind of completely be done. It's a nice iterative work. Anyone that hasn't shared yet, I think there's probably 2 groups that hasn't shared anything out yet. It would be really good to kind of hear from you, just real quick, where you guys are with the process. Have you guys shared yet? No. Now's the time.
Yeah, we can share, but we're going to share our challenges as well.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
So, yeah, our free statement pursuits we empower the child support network. We want children to understand and value their unique potential, and we empower children to contribute to the community.
Nice.
So with our Ansoff, which we completed on Thursday, we came up with a whole range of different things, which might have been new products in an existing market, etc., etc. And we're just going through and looking at, well, what, the idea, for instance, what pursuit would that really fall into, what category? But really, a lot of them, I think, we've got an example where, like a smart app would help to provide that support network for the child. It would help connect them to the community, and it could help unlock their unique potential.
Yeah.
So it's going to fall into all 3 pursuits.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose, and I guess how do we go about integrating the Ansoff and the pursuits?
Yep. Great question. It is not supposed to be a clean process. It's not supposed to be, hey, I got this statement, now I have got a bucket.
2x2, and I can really easily put in what I'm gonna do based on this and that. At the end of the day, what you want is to have ideas that you can bring to the marketplace to sell more of your stuff, right? That's really it. And the beauty of purpose does two things for you. One is that is where the marketplace is going. So if you don't have that purpose, you're probably not gonna sell as much as if you did, right? Time has proven that. That's one. The other one is with purpose, you get to at least do more than just sell the stuff. You sell the stuff and hopefully make some positive changes.
So do you think it's better to create the Ansoff market with our pursuits in mind first?
It doesn't
or
matter.
The other way around?
It doesn't matter because basically the theory is that you go into those ideas from different places. So the pursuits, which should be very driven by purpose, let's call it, somebody here called it, it's a little bit like the soul of your business, right? And it could be highly unprofitable activities that you want to do. It could be, oh, it's a red ocean. That means other people are already doing that. But it seems like the right activities you should do because of your soul, because of your purpose. And then you have the Ansoff, which typically becomes a little bit more of a business KPI/finance exercise, which might be, and I'm making an extreme statement for the purpose of it, is that it might be soulless, right? And then what you want to do is try to see if you can marry that up, where you have activities that you want to do. Yes, we should have. The fact that you are saying we should have an app, I'm making this up because I didn't hear the whole thing, but have an app that potentially connects the child together, tells the child a little bit more about what it means to have unique potential, potentially showcasing other people that have been helped and how they have transformed their lives, but also connecting that child to the support network, the teachers, the brothers, the sisters, the mentors. To me, whatever exercise you did to get to that point, doesn't matter. You've got a great idea. An app that actually helps the child through their journey. That's wonderful. And the fact that it fits 1, 2, and 3 is awesome. It doesn't have to be distinct activities. Consumers are only going to react to your activities. They're not going to react, oh, I wonder what pursuit that came up. That doesn't make any logical. They're not going to do that. They're just going to go, wow, that is a great product. I want to buy it. Hopefully they go, wow, that's a great product. And man, that I can really see they're trying to do something big here. That's really what you want. Right?
So would you say then the ideas that potentially meet all three pursuits would be the better ones because they're...
Potentially. And again, there's no real simple answer because it all depends on the objective of the business. Some businesses like Savor Life have a certain KPI, which I'm sure their margins are very different than Mars, than Nestle's, right? But they also have a very strong KPI, financial, less financial, more purpose-driven objective. Ultimately, everything that you're going to decide to do has to be driven by the objective of the business, objective of the brand, right? Ultimately, it's gonna be that way. Just if you've got a big multinational, when I was working for General Mills was a $19 billion business. I ran $1 billion. Ultimately, my objective has to be driven by the CEO. He's like, well, listen, I got $19 billion. But your role is to do this. Your role is not to increase your top line. Your role is to milk the life out of your portfolio and get you more bottom line. I can't do anything. He's already told that to Wall Street. That's now my role. Then within that role, you got to determine what you're going to do. But ultimately, it all should still ladder up to that business objective or the purpose, right? But ultimately, in terms of how do you make decisions, which one's better, I think it has to fall down to the business objective. That makes sense? Yeah. But it's good. I think that's good if you've got an idea that seems to fit this and seems to fit your Ansoff. I think that's at least qualitatively that would go, I think we've got something here. You guys. Have you guys shared yet? No. Oh, you have. Anyone else? No? Take a break? Let's take a break. So I was thinking for lunch, is 40 minutes sufficient? I guess take 40 minutes. So 20. Yeah. Awesome. I'll lock the door if you want to. I wouldn't leave your bags and stuff in here, but I will lock both doors. I've got the key. You can leave your laptop, that's fine. You say it's okay to leave bags, or we shouldn't? Well, if it's really that valuable to you, I'd never leave it. I wouldn't lock the room, yeah.
But you were saying it's on. The risk you take.
Like in gym, see? Your belongings, you know, responsible for your belongings.
You're gonna do
That's right. New market, new market. New target for
It is, isn't it? Jade, are you leaving the room or staying? You leave, yeah, okay. That way. Just wondering if it's cold outside. I imagine it's cold.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
If some people got jackets, I might just take a scarf in case. Because it got pretty warm in here earlier. Some people were in t-shirts. I'm thinking, yeah, that's not a bad thing. that particular instance, it's been huge.
That's amazing. How many years did that take?
It's been a while now. That's probably been, actually, that was before I started here. I reckon that would have been around about, I'll guess and say maybe 2009 or 2010.
10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years, yeah. But look, he went there already on a decent salary with this sort of thing. Yeah, he was already on a good salary where it was an industry. So he was a valuable person to get on board. And look, they live in Melbourne, they've got $5 million house. They've just bought, when they go skiing in Canada, they bought a lodge there at the resort. You know, I mean, they're doing this as investment stuff, so they're probably loaning money to it. But the wife who'd inherited the money initially that enabled him to start buying property, so she might have inherited it. It was always a big start. But she was working. She doesn't work anymore. She doesn't need to work. So the little project is she's got dyslexia, so she takes the kid out to America and spends 6 weeks doing a course on it, and then come back and, you know, like she's sort of coaching a few kids here and there. But giving, you know, she's a bit like you, you know how you're the sort of person who always wants to be doing something.
So instead of working.
Yeah, she's project. So that's why she's buying. Her parents, dad was a partner at a stock agent. Share. You know, used to go broker, share broker. Yeah, back in the days before you could do your own online. So he did really well out of that, and what his wife did together, they'd invest in property. They'd buy the best position, worst place, structurally usually reasonably sound, and then she would do the home interiors. Before it was sold on TV and reality TV and stuff, you know. So they made a lot of money flipping properties by doing what maybe stuff, you know, coming to the elders supposed to be. This is great old 1950s structure. We're going to turn this into something magnificent.
Yeah.
So she keeps buying all these properties, and then they'll eventually they'll sell them when they sell it. They usually do.
I grab a cup of tea more.
Yeah, just a black tea. Yeah, we. Down to 8%. That should have been on. That should have been on. It's going the right way, is it?
I got my tea and came here and I forgot. I asked you.
That's okay. Okay. Yeah.
Think of our ideas and we get that. No, it's not really much.
But that's same food.
I'll show you. Presentations. I make the slides routine.
Yeah, I've been working on it to make that. Very difficult.
Oh, you meant like silver.
Yeah. Yeah, so fun. Yeah. Oh, you made that and
Have you done your thing?
Yeah.